அனைவருக்கும் அன்பான வணக்கங்கள். வீக்கெண்ட் விருந்தினர் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில இன்னைக்கு ஒரு வெரி சீனியர் அபிஷியல் ரிட்டையர்ட் அவங்கள தான் இன்னைக்கு பார்க்க போறோம். அவர்கள் செய்திருக்கும் விஷயங்கள் குறிப்பாக தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு செஞ்சிருக்கிறது ரொம்ப அதிகம். சிம்பிளா ஒண்ணு சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா, நம்மளாம் ரொம்ப சர்வசாதாரணமா செல்ஃப் ஹெல்ப் குரூப் அப்படின்லாம் இப்ப பேசுறோம் இல்லையா? அதற்கெல்லாம் ஆரம்ப வித்து போட்டது அவங்கதான். அவர்கள் பல காஷ்மீர் டு கன்னியாகுமரி அப்படின்னு கூட அவங்கள பத்தி சொல்லலாம். அவ்வளவு விஷயங்கள் அவங்க பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. மேடம் கரியாலி IAS அவங்களதான் நாம இன்னைக்கு சந்திக்க போறோம். நமஸ்தே மேடம்.
Namaste, Girija. How are you? Namaste, everybody.
Yeah, I'm so much privileged to have you in this very small show. Such a big senior person. You have come all the way. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking trouble of conducting these shows. In this time, any activity is great.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. See, I just definitely would like to showcase whatever you have done. That will be a big inspiration to the viewers. You know, you have traveled a very long path. I always remember, whenever I think of you, I remember from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. That is, you have written a book also like that, you know. So you were born in... You were born in Kashmir.
Journey.
Yeah. Let's start the interview from Kashmir, madam. You tell me about your childhood in Kashmir.
I was born there and our house was on the river. And those days, you know, people didn't go to hospital for childbirth. So I was born in the house on a mud floor because on a mat, grass mat.
Okay.
And the doctor, English doctor, came to the house and delivered me. Those days there were no Indian lady doctors.
Okay.
So the foreign doctors used to come, and so that's the experience of my birth. And we didn't live a long time in Kashmir. We moved to Delhi, but I used to go for vacations, and I used to love watching the river. It was a beautiful river, and we could see all the boats and people taking bath and praying on the riverside, and you know, swimming and all that was very beautiful.
So you are known for service to the poor and service to the public, you know. How did this came into your mind? At what point service entered into your mind?
No, actually, my father is a social worker, so is my mother. My father was a freedom fighter also, so it was atmosphere of social work was always in my house. My father was getting widows married and you know, sheltering people, finding jobs for people. It was going on in my house. But to begin with, you know, I became a teacher. I was teaching in a school in a village outside Delhi, and I just finished my school, did my teacher's training, and immediately got job, and I was working in a village. And then that village, many girls were not going to school. So our headmistress said, why don't you all teachers go and talk to the villagers, go house to house and tell them to send your daughters to the school. So we all went, and I also went to many houses. And I was getting scolded by the women, saying, who will do our household work if we send our daughter to the school? And they will say, Behan ji, tu hamare ghar ka kaam karegi, saying, teacher, will you cook and bring water and fetch water for my house? So it was so bad for the girls. And then when I went to talk to the village headman, he also gave me a shelling. Don't interfere, you go and mind your school, don't interfere in the you know, society of the village and what we are doing. And when girls were getting married at 12, age of 12 and all that. I was teaching 4th standard, and my 4th standard girls at the age of 12, 13 were getting married. So it was a very pathetic situation, and I realized as a teacher, you cannot do anything in a very male-dominated village. So I must go back and study more. So I left my teaching job and went back and joined post-graduation in social work, in Delhi School of Social Work. Okay. And so I started doing field work. My first field work was in a Harijan Basti. You know, and there, these were the people working in like Delhi Municipal Corporation. And they were the sweepers and, you know, the sanitary workers there. But what they were doing, they were not going to work. They were sending their wives and sisters to work.
Oh, okay.
They were all sitting in the house and smoking, all these women. And those days, they were all dry latrines. and they had to carry the head loads on their head in the trays. The human waste was carried, and sometimes the tray will be leaking, and you can see this woman, the feces is dripping down her face. I've seen that kind of situation. So I was doing my field work in such a place, and I was very upset. And so I formed a group of these women, these girls. Many were teenage girls, many were girls of my age. I was about 19 when I went to my MA, and they were 18, 19, 16, 20, 24, like that. And they had such low self-esteem. They thought they were dirty, and the ideas of romance were very distorted. They said no man will like them. They are smelling bad. They are horrible. And they were good-looking girls, but they were all suffering for such complexes. So I formed a group of them. We went to government. We said we should not have this trade business. We should have at least wheelbarrows. So I remember doing a lot of advocacy for them, and then trying to get at least the trays which were not leaking, and then asking them to take bath immediately after they finish the work and wear fresh clothes and try to feel good, and then we have some other activities. So so it was very difficult kind of field work I did for 2 years as my the student of social work. And another place I was working, there was a handicapped person who needed help. And I thought there must be some schemes in Delhi government. So I took the person as a student social worker to the office of Director of Social Welfare. There we were made to wait for several hours till that man saw us. And after that also he did not do anything to help. So I was getting very angry because I had left my college and come. And he took such a long time to see us. And after that he did not promise any help. So I just decided that he should not be sitting there. I should be sitting there.
What a noble goal, you got it.
So I thought he was an officer. So I said I should become an officer. I should do my IAS. I should become director or secretary social welfare, and I should help the people. So this is how I wrote my IAS exam and got in. Then I got Tamil Nadu cadre, and I came to Tamil Nadu all the way from Kashmir. Delhi,
but before that, you said the prevailing atmosphere on those days, women were suppressed and all, not allowed to do many things. And at the same time, becoming an IAS was not that easy, Being a woman, how could you do that?
No, it was, it is difficult for men or women both. You have to study. So I was studying quite a lot. In fact, as a small age, we had a library near a school. In fact, it was quite far. I used to walk 3 miles to Delhi Public Library and get books to read. So at this young age, and I was with 10, 11, 12, I'd finished reading all the Hindi literature. We were in a Hindi medium school. Then I had a Tagore, I had a Tolstoy, all translated into Hindi, but I had all the great literature over. By the time I finished the school, I was through with all the books. Of course, then English we started late. So the reading was there. I used to almost finish 1 book per day. And then when we grew up, and when I was preparing for IAS, I was doing my MA in social work. So I will sit after the classes were over. I sit in the library till library closed, which are about 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday, when we had a holiday, I'll go to the Delhi University Referral Library. I go 8 o'clock in the morning, it opened, I'll be already there at 8. I'll carry my lunch from home. I'll stay there till 8 in the night when it closed. So 12 hours of uninterrupted study. We did it in one of the best reference libraries in India, which had all kinds of books. Suppose you are reading a subject, you can find everything on that subject. For example, I was reading Mughal history. Now, normally people will read Mughal history, couple of books and all, but I was able to get, the library had Babarnama, library had Akbarnama, library.
So, which year you became an IAS, and where was your first posting?
I passed the exam in 1972.
Okay.
And so we were doing training in Mussoorie for a while. And then 73, I came to Coimbatore as an assistant collector on training.
Oh, straight you came to Tamil Nadu?
Yes, after 1 year in academy.
Okay.
Where we get, And then I was straight, I reached, took a direct train to Coimbatore. Those days there was a direct train called Jayanti Janata, which came to Coimbatore. So I took a train from Delhi to Coimbatore directly. And it was a very, very interesting thing. There's a very kind-hearted collector called Shiv Kumar and his wife Charu. And they were very, very keen to.
Please go ahead, madam.
They were very keen to, train me very well and acquaint me with Tamil culture. They gave me a lot of good training, and then I went to all the concerts of first concert of MS Subbalakshmi, first Tamil movie of Balchandar called Arangetram. I saw with them. The first dance, Bharatanatyam dance of Kamala and her sisters. Three of them performed.
Kumari Kamala.
So, the first drama of Manohar. All that I have seen in 1973, courtesy this wonderful couple who were training me. So more than the husband was training me in administration, the wife was training me in culture. Her name was Charu, and she was a Bharatanatyam dancer too. And very lovely people. Later he went to become principal secretary to finance minister in Delhi to C. Subramaniam. And later went to work in World Bank. Now he's retired from World Bank and he's in America.
Oh, nice. So, when did you come to Chennai?
Chennai, after I finished my training in Coimbatore, in 1975, I got posted in Tiruvallur as a sub-collector Tiruvallur. So, at that time, the Tiruvallur, which is a district now, was just a subdivision. So, I was taking care of it as a sub-collector. And so that time I was coming and going to Delhi. It was not very far. I was living in Tiruvallur, but my husband and his family lived in Chennai. So I often came up and down, but I lived in Tiruvallur generally. But that is the time I started.
All along being in North, born and brought up there, the Tamil Nadu would have been entirely different to you, right?
It was very different, and language was very difficult. I had to have a teacher who was teaching me language, and then we're trying to talk to people, and slowly you start. So language speaking and all that was came slowly. It was very tough language part, but people were very lovely, both in villages and here. In Coimbatore, when I was doing my training, I stayed with the village officer in Vedapatti village for 1 month in his house. So, yes, because I wanted to live in village and see how the village operates in a Tamil Nadu village, because it was totally new to me. So he said, you cannot stay in any other house. If you want to stay in village, you have to stay only in my house. So I put his foot down. And he had a daughter of my age. So she used to cook for us, and she'll make all the typical Tamil vegetarian food. Every day we'll eat, and she and me will sleep together in one room on the mat. So it was very interesting experience for me to live in that household.
You were telling so much about the villages you saw when you were doing social work. So how different it was being in Tamil Nadu village?
See, those villages were not poor. People were rich, but they were backward. They didn't want to educate their daughters. They were Jat community. Where I was working in Delhi, it was mostly Jat community, very macho, very male dominated, and this thing getting girls married. Here was more poverty in the villages. There was not that much of poverty, but there was more poverty in Tamil Nadu at that time compared to the villages of Delhi. And I could see the children with malnutrition. They're having knock knees and marasmus cases with pot bellies, and with the hair totally brown and red because of the lack of nutrition. Nowadays, we don't see such cases. So initially, when I went in 73, we could see a lot of poverty, and Tamil Nadu has come a long way. We're very proud of it. But we saw when we came and what it is today, so much of difference. And we're happy to be that we were part of this journey also. So we're happy. It was real poor. Huh?
So
people
you came to this profession with passion. You wanted to have the power and do good to the people. And what you started doing after getting the power?
No, I never thought of power. I thought
power
only
in the
opportunity.
sense, the position.
I was trying to help people as much as possible, and act, I mean, be fair to people, see that there is no, they're not subjected to any corruption and all that. Their work gets done fast and quick. The major things, if you say major achievements in administration where I would have helped a lot of people, it was that when I was collector in Chennai, there was a scheme called the Sites and Services, where poor people were living on a slum, and nothing belonged to them. So it was very dirty and very ugly and was just huts. So suppose that site, they become owners of the site, then they have a stake in that. Then they can build it, they can get amenities, and so the whole their lifestyle will change. So World Bank had given the scheme, and they were funding us. So I was implementing it. That time about 30,000 pattas I have given in Chennai alone.
Oh my, very nice, very nice.
That was good. Even this MGR Nagar and all that, Vyasarpadi, they were slums, huge slums. Now they are having drains and lanes and all that. And people are having Vakka houses with all the fans and this and the drainage system and all. So all those pattas were given by them, whether it's Velacheri, whether it was parts of Perambur, whether it was MGR Nagar, lots and was part of Velacheri. So that was major work I did in Chennai, which I can remember with pride. Okay. Similarly, when I was in South Arcot, once MGR came there and he used to come and go. You see, those days CM had to travel through road. There were no flights. Okay. So if he has to go to Salem, he has to go through. If he has to go to Vellore, he has to pass through South Arcot. If he has to go to anywhere, Trichy, he has to. So he used to pass so often through Kadalur and my district that one day I complained, you keep going somewhere else and you don't come here. You just go to Salem and here and there. So he said, okay, I'll come. When Dr. Hande was with him, he told Dr. Hande, give appointment to collector. I'll come. And he said, what will you do if I come? You have to do something. No? I said, I'll give land to people. There are a lot of poor people waiting. Land to people.
Land to people. Okay, fine.
So, and he said, okay, how many people? I said, 10,000.
Oh.
He didn't seem to register as if nothing. And I said 20,000. And still he kept quiet. Yes, being MGR. Then I said 30,000. Then he said, Dr. Hande, give collector appointment. So I thought he will give appointment after 3-4 months, and by the time I'll do all this, I had applications pending and I had news. There are people waiting and there's some land where they have occupied where we can regularize. But suddenly he said next month.
Oh,
30 days. 30 days. 1 month time. And that was a very big challenge. So I then called a meeting of entire district officers, not only revenue, but the development officers, block development officers, health officers, everybody, the civil supplies and revenue, everybody. So I said, now it cannot be done only by Tahsildars and revenue inspectors. Everybody has to get it. So we pulled all the vehicles, all the district vehicles, whether there's a hospital, whether there's block vehicles, everything. And we divided the whole district into segments. So that they will help one person will help one taluk. So one Tahsildar will have 3 more people working with them, people standing. So we divided the work, and I had 30,000 applications in my office itself. So I distributed this application area-wise. So each person got say 500. So they started working on those 500 cases. They have to inspect, they have to invite the objections, they have to see whether legally that can be done, whether these are unobjectionable lands or the lands which could be legally without problem given. All that inquiries they have to do. And they did it. And by the time 1 month was over, we had not 30, we have 40,000 pattas.
Oh, very nice.
Because yes, our people had done so much work. The whole district did nothing for 1 month, but that was a very good thing, because for giving these pattas, people will otherwise have to shell so much of money, pleasing local people, taking them for the inspections, begging them. Some cases were pending for last 50 years. The people coming to me saying, 50 வருஷம் அங்கே இருக்கோம், அந்த நிலம் நமக்கு கொடுக்கும். அது மாதிரி cases இருந்தது. There were people who were, but then we regularized also. Somebody was occupying more, somebody less, so we gave equal amount to accommodated people, but everybody got ownership. So that was a fantastic thing, which I remember as a very great pride. And
So
similar thing happened.
Let me come to the education part of it. In the education field, you did so much, madam. Tell me about that. Regarding the engineering college.
Which one?
The engineering college.
More in education. I was a deputy secretary education, and I was in charge of collegiate education.
Okay.
So in that sector, and I was in charge of libraries also. That are two major things at that time. Tamil Nadu College had not accepted the UGC scales. I don't know for what reason. Our teachers were not getting UGC scales, and there was something issue pending. Our principals were not getting, and there was so much of difference. Suppose the local government was giving 10,000, UGC at that time was giving 30,000.
Okay.
And there was some lack of coordination, some ego issues between the state and center. I ran up and down and sorted it out. I got UGC scales of pay for entire teaching community, the lecturers and principals. That is something people still remember. And so that was one contribution I made. Okay. The second thing was, it was a big contribution because, suddenly people's salaries jumped 3 times across the state in every college. Okay. Government and aided. I included aided everybody because it had to be done. And so the next thing I remember in that department, which was a major thing, was the local library authority, that is at village level, and small libraries they have everywhere. And there'll be one casual person, so-called librarian or semi-librarian, assistant librarian, and another person and all. 1 or 2 people. And they were there for donkey's years, unregularized, like one daily wage worker. And many of them were qualified with the diploma in libraries and all that kind of stuff. For about 400 or 500 people were languishing like that for about 2 decades, 3 decades. One of the major things I feel very happy because I was running up and down finance department and I got it done. Those 500 people were regularized and made government servants. Okay. So that was a very big challenging thing. I feel very proud about it, that we were able to do. I mean, that's asking me major things. Yeah. It's a major thing in education department.
You had been doing, very good things towards women, especially the...
About education, I like to mention one more thing. Very important. But that time, we had only University of Madurai and University of Madras. We didn't have any other university. And there was demand to have more universities. Political people were in favor of Coimbatore. Because Coimbatore was a big lobby for a university. Because people there are rich and powerful. They have some big colleges. So there was a lot of political lobby. And politicians also were wanting to forward the case of Coimbatore. But Trichy is an ancient learning center, right from St. Joseph's College and so many things. And there was Tamil University nearby and so on. So, and this matter was pending and the report was not good enough. UGC was rejecting our reports. At that time, I joined as deputy secretary. I was only a deputy secretary. Then my secretary one day told me, we're not able to do anything. Why don't you do something about it? I said, then I have to go to Trichy and Coimbatore. I have to see everything and then only I can write. So I wrote those reports freshly, visited, met people, saw the culture. Here in Coimbatore, I linked it with the Nilgiri tribes and Ooty and the industrialization of Coimbatore. Here I connected with Tanjore and culture and Trichy and all that. And I wrote 2 beautiful reports for both the... So government, because they could not say no to Trichy also because it's a really ancient center of learning. And Coimbatore, there was pressure. So they said both the reports. In fact, I took both the reports to UGC chairman. And at that time, I was told, Coimbatore Kadachada Poda, because nobody thought we'll get to.
Madam, talk more Tamil, madam. You speak Tamil well. Speak Tamil also.
Nobody could think in the Nadu University கிடைக்கும் ஒரு கிடைச்சதா ஒரு பெரிய விஷயம்னா மதுரைக்கு மேல நமக்கு கிடைக்கவே இல்லை அதனால நான் நேரே போயிட்டு அங்க கொடுத்தேன் எனக்கே தெரியாது அப்படி லாபி இருக்கு because UGC chairman no pressure was on him for Coimbatore. Okay. Quickly என்னோட நான் முன்னாலே இருந்தேன் I was sitting in front. He quickly went to in front of me. He didn't even send me அப்படியே படிச்சிட்டு உடனே சொன்னாரு Coimbatore for lobby and Trichy for you.
Oh.
Report is so good.
Mm.
I was so thrilled.
Mm.
So no politician expected, nobody expected. He said, reports are so good, I'm going to give both, but you must see that the ministry agrees. So I went to ministry to follow up, and this education secretary turned out to be my father's close friend's son-in-law. So that was a very lucky thing. He was a Muslim gentleman, Mir Nusrullah. He was son-in-law of then Chief Minister of Kashmir, where my father knew him. So when I told him I'm so-and-so's daughter and these are two wonderful universities and UGC chairman is favorable, you mustn't stop them. He said, no, not at all. And he just signed like that. So within very quickly, within a month or two, we got two universities, that is Bharatidasan University and Bharatiya.
Okay. Oh, that's so.
So that is, I will say, I had a big personal work both in preparing report, going lobbying, getting the order, and getting it started.
Yes, you are known always for your straightforwardness and your vibrancy and doing something new. So towards woman empowerment, you did so many things. Tell me something about that.
See, first of all, I was very much, when I was collector of Madras, I was every day going to one slum. There were 1700 slums in my district. So as a collector, I didn't go to office. First, I visited one slum at least, and then went to office. So I found that whenever you go somewhere from a small little hut, the husband will come out, wife will come out, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children will come out. My God, and they have not enough to eat also. Husband was working some casual job, wife was not able to work because so many children, hardly eating anything, hardly studying, half naked, dirty. So I realized that family planning is a top priority. So I started left and right, I jumped into family planning campaigns, and slowly, we were able to change the things in Madras city. So first I was, only if women have smaller families, they will be able to do anything else. They can have leisure, they can do economic activity, they can earn money, they can go to work. So first thing is to address. So I went into, sterilizations, into popularization of IUDs, into popularization of pill, and so on. So first pill experiment we did in Tanjore.
Okay.
At that time, everybody said, oh, uneducated women, the farmers and all those in Tanjore, or they will know how to take pill. They won't even remember all that.
Oh.
So we did an experiment, because I had a foreign friend who gave me some money to do a pill experiment in Tanjore. So we were dealing with these women farmers. We gave them some incentives to take the pill. And after they had taken for 9 months, 1 year, we did a follow-up study, what happened. And 80% people had continued for the whole year.
Oh.
And so there was no break. And what were the benefits when we found? We were shocked. There's so many benefits we never expected. We were looking at they won't get pregnant that year. That was all we were looking for. But what we found, they said, because of this eating pill, our period, which was say 1 week, has become 3 days. It has become shorter. So we are agriculture worker. When we have periods, we stand in paddy fields, we cannot work because they are standing in the water. But because period has become small now, on 3rd day we are going to work. So we are earning more money. I didn't realize it. Then second thing they said, because there is 5 days when there are 25 days of this thing, 5 days of period, they give iron tablet. That also improves your health. So that was another thing. The headache and other things were reduced. Third thing they took, which was very shocking, they said, now we are able to have sex with our husbands. So they were avoiding. Already they had 2, 3, 4 children. They didn't want one more child. Okay. So whenever this man came who demanded sex, they said no. Okay. And then there was a fight. They were beating. They were getting beat. And it was horrible. They said our beating has stopped. The husband is, coming home early now. Because otherwise, they will go and get drunk. Then they go to a commercial sex worker. Okay. Then they said we are saving all that money which was going for drinking and visiting a commercial sex worker. Now that money comes into the family kitty. Can you imagine? Just
what
a pill. We were shocked. And then when we wanted to start the pill as a program for the state, all the people were against him. Then I got these women to give a presentation in front of all the professors of surgery, professor of obstetrics, gynecology, minister, secretary, everybody. And when they gave this presentation, everybody was shocked. And they said, go ahead. So we started, we can say I introduced pill in Tamil Nadu. Because everybody was not wanting to go for operation. Okay. They could not. No, they were just married. They wanted to postpone. They wanted to have spacing. There's so many things.
Yeah.
They are thinking of a child.
You worked with, you had the opportunity of working with so many chief ministers, different chief ministers. Can you recollect them and tell me your
Yeah, basically, when I joined, just joined, it was Karunanidhi ji who was chief minister. So I was training in Coimbatore, just come, say a few days back. So we were taken to assistant collector training to see CM. So we went and did namaste and all that. So the only thing he asked was double teriyuma. So I hardly knew that because 1 week only. So I just said, Ama sir, Ama, I'll give Ama. So my collector came to my rescue and he said, nah, he has arranged a teacher for me and she's learning and all that. And with that, he dismissed me. So that was my first encounter with Karunanidhi. But soon after that, MGR came. Then a lot of years it was with MGR. And we didn't get to see Karunanidhi much. And then again, he came towards the end. But that time I was working in Rajbhavan, so I used to meet him there. But we see very interesting thing is when I came in the state, he was chief minister. The day I retired, he was chief minister.
Oh,
can you imagine such a thing? After 30, the day I came in, I called on him as a chief minister. The day I was leaving, I went to his house and took leave of him. Sir, thank you very much. Madri, he was there, such a long-lasting chief minister.
That's nice.
A lot of interesting. I told you about MGR. He said, "What will you do?" And we did that thing. But he was very encouraging. He was several times. I took very bold decisions, and people complained against me, saying she should be dismissed. I mean, not dismissed, suspended, and disciplinary action should be taken because she has done this on her own without consulting CM or minister and all. But every time he saw that what was done was very much for public good, and he never accepted those recommendations. So twice at least people have sent him files asking him to punish me for doing something good. Yeah. But because I did consult, I had no time to consult people. Sometimes you don't have consult to people, and the whole burden. Even if I was only a deputy secretary, I was taking major decisions. If my secretary, minister, and CM was not there, I took the decision on that day. I didn't wait. So like that, two instances, people complained against me to CM, but he said no. She's done what is done is good. So I have great regard for him. He had respect for us. Always called us madam and talked like that. Then of course, Madam Jayalalitha, she was a great patriot. I worked with her for 6 years, 5 years as a minister. She was my minister for tourism, for temple department, for information department. For nearly 5 years, I was working with her as a minister, not at the chief minister's office, but she was the minister of my subject. Those days, she took great interest in all these things. So we repaired about 30,000 temples. She was greatly interested in her first term, interested in tourism, interested in information. So we did a lot of things which she was appreciated. We started the boating in that big lake in Ooty, not in the regular lake, that another one which is inside. I forget the name. And we did a lot of things. Muthugadu also we started when she was. I started Muthugadu also. I started Mahabalipuram festival, dance festival. She inaugurated. We helped Dakshin Chitra with the land. She gave land and I recommended it, and then she inaugurated Dakshin Chitra also on that day, 92. So all those major things we have done when she was
there. And this self-help group project also came when she was there. SSG?
Yes, actually what happened, it started as a small project for Dharmapuri and this thing, Salem and Dharmapuri. Small, Dharmapuri, Krishnagiri. A foreign agency was giving funding. IFAT, it was the arm of International Food and Agriculture Organization, IFAT. So they gave small funding, and so it had just started there. I think the agreement was signed by one chief minister, and the program started with. I mean, so I will say, but lot of push was given by Jayalalitha.
Okay.
And but I will tell you, this program was in only these 2-3 districts. Then I became chairman, and Jayalalitha was still there. I told her we should expand it to whole state, because because there's no point doing it in one part of few blocks in Salem and few blocks in Madurai and few blocks in Dharmapuri, and there we are showing such excellent results. And why we should not do for the whole state? And if foreign people won't give us money, means we'll stop it. Why do we need their money? How much money they are giving? We can bring down the cost, because we are spending a lot more money unnecessarily in that foreign project, because it's more liberal, giving more money for this and that. Now, development cost and all is not necessary. All the books have been made. It's only printing cost. Earlier, we had to pay development of each material. Now we got all the institution, the infrastructure. I can bring the cost to 1/3 also. So if the state gives 10 crores each year, we can implement in 3 years in all the 30 states, 10 states each year, like that, 3-year plan. She also said, okay, but it was election time, so she could not sign it, but she had agreed. Then she lost the election. And now finance secretary told me, now new CM is there, everybody, they send a routine, any new announcements you want to make and all. I immediately sent this whole thing. And to our good luck, Karnaniti just signed it.
Okay.
And that is all. So you see that one CM developed it all and kept ready. But if other CM had said no, then it would not have happened. So same thing I sent, and he announced it on the floor of the assembly that this Mahile, we gave name also. It was used to be called IFAD program, that made the name Mahile Thittam, will be applied throughout the state in next 3 years.
Only in that period, the Women Development Corporation also was formed, separately.
No, it was formed earlier. It was formed in, I think, I will say it was formed in 80s.
Okay.
When Ms. Ramesh was there, then Chandralekha was there, then many, but it didn't develop them. Then it was only doing some training programs for women, like, say, beautician training, type training, this training, that training, computer training. It was more training oriented. And this kind of, so they only got this IFAD project. They only started that. Corporation only started this project. That corporation only expanded it.
Okay.
So as this thing was, then I came back to that department. Again, though they signed, this was very slow. Progress was very slow during the DFT period. It was there. So when I came back, again I became chairman of Human Development Corporation again.
Because I met you only at that time, and you took it up.
2001, I again came there. So then by the time Jayalalitha came back in 2001. So then she was a big support at that time. And we started entrepreneur development training for women, EDP training. A lot of women set up a lot of enterprises. And that my aim was every village should have a self-help group. And not only village, I said every hamlet should have a self-help group. So I mapped the entire Tamil Nadu. There are 97,000 hamlets. I was reviewing every month how many hamlets were connected. By the time I left the department, only 7 hamlets were left where there was no self-help. They were in some more jungle or some hill area or some reason. But almost out of 97,000 hamlets were covered. That was our enthusiasm to reach everybody.
Yeah.
And for that purpose, we give a lot of powers to collector to authorize small NGOs to form the group. Authorize local people to form the groups, because all big NGOs don't go to the remote places. So it was necessity to open up the thing. So we did a lot of those things, exercises to empower people everywhere.
So all through, madam, see, how you dreamt when you were young. So you were helping the poor, and you had an eye on the social, awareness. You had that awareness always. So I have come to the last segment of my interview. So Normally, officers like you work when you sit in the chair. After retirement, normally people think that what can I do after retirement? But you were so different, you know. The Equitas was born after that. You tell me the Equitas story, man.
Before that, I like to tell about culture story a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that I'm very proud of. Because I started the Natyanjali festival in Chidambaram.
Okay.
And I also started Mahabalipuram festival in Mahabalipuram dance festival because I'm very much fascinated by dance. And as a child, I used to see Khajuraho festival is going on. I used to see I must do something like that. So when I came here, I went to visit Chidambaram temple when I became collector. And when I said, when do we have dance here? They said never. It has been stopped from the time when Devdasi, Prevention Act came. And even that Annamalai University used to have a department of dance, which they had to be closed because of the law. So imagine, so I was very hurt, and we decided we should bring the dance back to the temple. So I will say I have brought dance back to all the temples of Tamil Nadu, starting from Chidambaram.
Kabalishwar temple also, no?
That was, because once you open up, every temple is having festivals now, everywhere. So, but then second one was Mahabalipuram, which was we did from the side of government. Now it's a government festival. It goes on for 1 month, and government spends nearly 70-80 lakhs, 1 crore on it. It's a big festival. Then I thought both, one has been taken by the citizens of and temple authorities, and one by government. There's nothing for me. So in 2004, I started a dance festival in Kapali temple. Because I live in Mailapur and Aripuram, so I thought with my old age I'll have a festival.
Nice.
So it was beautiful because temple, we do in collaboration with temple. They give us the space and the facilities free of cost. They give prasadam for the artist. And so this became now nearly 18 years this is going on. We're running it ourselves from our family trust, and we're very proud of it, and people love it.
I know.
It has become a cultural event of city.
Yes.
Now coming to class, I was thinking when I retire, I will again work with women. Maybe I'll have to form an NGO or something, and I'll continue to do this work which I'm doing with women. But the day I was taking voluntary retirement, the MD of Equitas and his second in command, they both came to my office and said they have set up this new microfinance company, and will I like to help them? I said, I'm not interested in joining company because companies make profit, and when you're into profit area, you may not look after the interest of poor. And those days, microfinance had little bad name also. They're charging very high interest and all that. So I told them, look, I'm not interested. I'm not doing anything else for women, for their welfare and all. I'm willing to. They said, yes, we want to do. I said, then I will help in setting up a trust. So I helped them. I wrote even the trust deed I have written. Equitas Development Initiative Trust. So I'm one of the founder trustees and the MD of the company, Mr. Vasudev. And then we invited Mr. Nirmal, who had so much of experience of working in the slums. I said we should invite him to be a trustee. So Nirmal is also one of the founder trustees. He did a lot of help introducing us to various slums, because most of the microfinance clients came from the slum. But good thing about Equitas is we have done so many good things, and it has got so many national and international awards for all these good works done. One of the good things which we are doing is giving inclusive credit, which has become an international story. We are giving credit to handicapped women, blind women to set up small businesses. So now we have reached 50,000 women which are either handicapped. Out of the 7,000 are blind. With blind women also doing small business with the help of their family members. That's something, a great achievement. Harvard University has written a case study about it. Even they have written 2 case studies about Equitas. And second case study, they teach in their MBA second year.
Okay.
So it is, yeah. Now this year it got the best award for the reaching the people in slum from National Award, from which should have been given by Prime Minister, but it's given by Madam Nirmala Sitharaman. So MD went and got it. So we have got number of, now we started, because my interest is also in transgender. So nearly 1.5 2 years ago, we started giving credit to transgender also, if they want to have change in lifestyle, want to start a small micro business and all. So far we have given about 200 loans, but we want to popularize it more so that more and more people can come. So that is our next thing is transgender. I'm actually writing a book about transgenders right now in the COVID period. it's almost getting ready.
Okay. So
maybe we'll talk about it next time when the book comes out.
Exactly.
The translation.
Always, I admire you and your path and your noble goals and all. See, I have one last question to you, madam. Like many people dream, many people, have passion. What is your advice for a person or for a woman to convert their passion into reality or their dream into reality?
First of all, they should not give up the passion. You see, you give up. You should not give up your dream. You should not give up your passion. First of all, that is very important. Then you have to systematically and persistently work towards it. Like I said, I studied for years together to pass the exam. If you start doing 2 months, I will do and I read any, those guidebooks and all that, and, quick answer, 10-year answer, 5 years answer, and I'll pass. It's very difficult. You got to have depth of knowledge. You have to read several newspapers. You have to hear news every day, have world affairs, local affairs, know about your culture, know about the literature. So all that is very tough. So you have to not give up your passion, not give up your dream, and not give up working towards it.
Thank you very much, madam, for your time, because you have traveled so much. It is not easy for me to bring out everything in one small interview for 45 minutes, but I'm so much honored, and thank you very much for your time, madam.
Thank you for inviting me.
Namaste, madam. Yes. என்ன நேயர்களே, இது கண்டிப்பா உங்க எல்லாருக்குமே ஒரு இவ்வளவு எளிமையான ஒரு IAS ஆபீசர். இவங்க பவர்ல இருந்தப்போ எப்படி எல்லாம் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க, எவ்வளவு அசாத்தியங்கள் எல்லாம் சாத்தியங்கள் ஆக்கியிருக்காங்க. யூ நேம் எனிதிங். இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற ஒரு செல்ஃப் ஹெல்ப் குரூப்போ, இல்ல அன்னைக்கு இருந்த குடிசைகள் எல்லாம் மாறி ஒரு ஹவுசிங் போர்டு ஆனதோ, அந்த மாதிரி பல விஷயங்களை முதலில் ஆரம்பித்து செய்திருக்கிறார்கள். சோ இவர்களை பற்றி தெரிந்து கொள்ளணும் அப்படின்றத விட, இந்த மாதிரி நாம உருவாகணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ட்ரீம் எல்லாருக்கும் வரணும் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் இந்த இன்டர்வியூவோட நோக்கம். மறுபடியும் இன்னொரு வீடியோவில் உங்களை சந்திக்க வரேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.